Let me summarize my argument to you this evening. Under the momentum of globalization, the world is opening up, and at an astonishing speed. Old boundaries of culture, identity, and even nationhood are falling.
This nation is right now fighting for its survival, but we are also fighting for world peace, and we are also fighting for future world order. The worst thing was that I was standing there with my people, they were bombed, and I was just targeted like them, and as elected president, official in charge of their protection, I couldn't do anything about it. But the point here is, it's not about me, it's about the idea of freedom. It's about the future of the whole region. It's about the future of Europe and a new world order.
In this new century, Americans and Europeans alike will be required to do more, not less. Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way, the one way, to protect our common security and advance our common humanity. That is why the greatest danger of all is to allow new walls to divide us from one another. The walls between old allies on either side of the Atlantic cannot stand. The walls between the countries with the most and those with the least cannot stand. The walls between races and tribes, natives and immigrants, Christians and Muslims and Jews cannot stand. These now are the walls we must tear down.
This is a worldwide crisis, and therefore we must find a worldwide solution. Each region of the world, each part of the world, to begin with the United States and then the European countries and now Asia, are trying to find an answer to the crisis. But this answer will be all the more effective insofar as we find it together, we speak with one and the same voice, and we build together the capitalism of the future. I say things that I deeply believe here. This may be a great opportunity if we do not fall back into the hateful practices of the past.
This is a global financial crisis that requires global solutions. In the financial crisis, Europe is leading the way towards a global solution.
Et début septembre, le président des États-Unis et l'Europe ont donc proposé plusieurs sommets à partir de la mi-novembre qui porteront sur une nouvelle régulation, une nouvelle gouvernance mondiale.
Today, Europe can propose the principles and rules that will shape a new global order.
Je veux dire ma conviction que la crise appelle à la réforme des institutions européennes. La crise appelle à ce que l'Europe puisse apporter une réponse aussi puissante et aussi rapide que tel autre ensemble mondial comme les États-Unis ont pu le faire face au drame qu'a représenté la crise financière.
The kind of occasion where the crisis calls into question old certainties and minds are more open to change. These are very special moments. The goal should be to devise a system of global financial governance adapted to the challenges of the 21st century.
Cette crise, il fallait d'abord essayer de la maîtriser. Cette crise qui appelle d'urgence un nouvel ordre économique, financier, monétaire, cette crise exprime au fond un besoin profond de politique. Le moment où tout le monde aura compris qu'il était temps de changer, temps de donner un nouveau visage à la mondialisation, temps de construire un nouvel ordre mondial, politique, économique, social, assis sur de nouveaux principes et de nouvelles règles. Au nom de l'Europe, en tant que président de l'Union européenne, j'ai proposé que se tienne d'ici à la fin de l'année un sommet mondial pour que soient discutés et décidés ces nouveaux principes, ces nouvelles règles. Il faut que l'Europe se donne les moyens de jouer le rôle qui doit être le sien dans le monde nouveau qui est en train de naître. Il faut que l'Europe se prépare. Notre stratégie économique ne doit pas seulement nous permettre de passer au mieux un moment difficile, doit nous permettre de nous donner les meilleures chances possibles de réussir dans le monde tel qu'il est en train de se réorganiser.
But he can give a new impetus to American foreign policy, partly because the reception of him is so extraordinary around the world. I think his task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity. It isn't just a crisis.
Good evening, everybody. President Obama and British Prime Minister Gordon today calling for a new world order to tackle our global economic crisis. President Obama said globalization can be an enormous force for good. Prime Minister Brown again pushing for what he calls a global New Deal.
As far as the common interests that we're pursuing, look, there is the possibility in the next few months of a global New Deal that will involve all the countries of the world in sorting out and cleaning up the banking system.
On a world level, I think it's absolutely necessary that we go in the direction of a network of regional organizations. We have the European Union in Europe. Maybe tomorrow in Asia they shall create an Asian currency unit, like we have the Economic and Monetary Union in Europe. There is certainly also an enormous intense cooperation more and more in Latin America. There are the Arab countries. So I see a world order in the future with a multipolar world order, where you see a few big regional subcontinental organizations more important. So the network of these organizations, that is maybe the future for this world.
I think it will be very important to create new global institutions which can be really powerful.
The other thing that I do believe is important is that there is no question that this crisis, in the way that has developed, will require some kind of world governance.
I think a new world order is emerging, and with it the foundations of a new and progressive era of international cooperation. We have resolved that from today we will together manage the process of globalization to secure responsibility from all and fairness to all. And we've agreed that in doing so, we will build a more sustainable and more open and a fairer global society.
But it is the awareness itself that will drive the change. And one of the ways it will drive the change is through global governance and global agreements.
You know, Canada co-chaired the international panel on financial regulation. Our view is that all of these national systems of regulation have to be fixed, but there also has to be international coordination. There has to be an international peer review process for national regulations. So there is transparency, there's peer review and peer assessment. We undergo that in Canada. It's been very useful when we have undergone it, and we think all countries need to be part of that. It does not detract from national sovereignty. Nation states are clearly going to exercise their rights to regulate their financial system. But in a globalized economy, we are going to have to take global responsibilities. And there is going to have to be some semblance of global governance on these questions.
The way we're going to win over the long term is not just militarily. We've got to win over hearts and minds. And what that means is we've got to invest in countries that have no educational infrastructure, have no means for young people to get ahead. We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.